Sausage.
Hello. 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 And welcome to Attack the Backlog, the podcast where I, Marcus Nez, tries to make a dent in their backlog one game at a time. This episode is all about Destiny 2, a shooter where you shoot a lot of things. And there are a lot of things going on, and I don't really remember why I played this game at this point. It is what sparked somewhat my return to streaming, and after 5 days, 5 nights of streaming, 3 hours a night, I have thoughts. I had thoughts after stream 1, and then those thoughts changed drastically after stream 2. Then they changed again after stream 3 and 4 and 5. And here we are at the end of my journey for now with Destiny 2. So let us just get into it, all right? So I don't like Destiny 2. Again, I can't remember why I decided to start playing it. I think Bungie being in the news with not great news, layoffs, and stuff of that nature, departures, and the game itself being at its end of life, no more future expansions, no big updates. I figured, why not jump back into it? Because I did try it a little when it launched, around launch. But why not jump back in it now that it's over, for lack of a better term, as I hear someone smashing something outside my window. But why not return 7 years after it came out to see what that experience is like, to play it, to see how well it onboards new players. And to that point, I think it does a terrible job of onboarding new players. There are so many things going on in this game, so many different modes, so many different things you can do, and it doesn't do a great job of introducing you to or guiding you in a way that feels non-oppressive. There's just so much happening, and when you first start the game with a new character, because I deleted my old character, started a new character, and it dumps you into the same old tutorial mission that I remember, which was fine. But once I got out of that, it just opened the floodgates, and there were campaigns and raids and things that I don't even remember what they were. There's just so many different things I could engage with, and I just wanted to have a guided campaign experience. I just wanted to play through the story. I didn't want to engage with PvP, PvE. I just wanted to play the story. You can randomly throw me in with a few other players if you wish for that, but I don't want to do anything else. I don't want to go on patrols in an open-y, small environment and take on the same enemies over and over and over again. I don't want to do any kind of dungeons, or definitely don't want to partake in the multiplayer. But there were times where it was forcing me as part of the quest I was on, and I wasn't sure if I was on a quest that was part of a story campaign or not. It was never quite clear. Then the second stream was just a giant mess of nonsense. It was a very unpleasant time that I don't even remember. My memory blocked it out, so I'm not even going to talk about it. It was the stream that almost killed me playing Destiny 2 right then and there, but I decided to give it another shot. And then in my third and fourth streams, where in every stream, I started off loading the game up, because it's not one of the Well, it's one of the few Xbox games, because I played on Xbox Series X, that doesn't have quick resume. And I understand why it wouldn't, because it's an online only game. It's got to talk to the servers. But usually games of that nature still have quick resume. You just have to reconnect to the server. Not here. But when I relaunched the game 2 nights in a row, both times it randomly threw me into the introductory mission of some campaign. I didn't know what it was. It just threw me into some random thing that I wasn't engaging with or partaking in prior to that. So a lot of my time with Destiny 2 was very confused, especially the third night where it dumped me into what I believe was the introductory to the Final Shape expansion, the one expansion I don't own, so that after I finished that opening mission and wanted to continue going down that path, I couldn't unless I bought that. Wasn't going to do that. So I think I jumped into the Beyond Light expansion maybe for that stream and was having an okay time with it, but I was getting a bit sick of the icy environment. And then the fourth night, it did it to me again. It threw me into some random expansion. Not sure which one that was, but that happened again. Confusion went over me, and I just didn't understand what Destiny 2 was trying to do to me. After I got through all that, I did end up finishing the Beyond Light campaign, if I am remembering the name of it right, which wasn't that fun. I have never been a big fan of Destiny's shooting. I did play through all of the first game, and I thought it was fine. I think the mechanics of Destiny and Destiny 2 are solid. They're very Call of Duty-like, and they feel okay, but it is not the best feeling shooter by any means. And when someone was asking me about my shooting and why it didn't seem like I was doing as well as they would have expected since I was on controller, I don't feel any strong type of aim assist, which you don't need, of course. It's fine. You don't have to put that in your game, but it does make playing on controller feel better, whether people want to admit that or not. The majority of us, the vast majority of us, could use a little aim assist to make up for the fact that you lose quite a bit of precision when you're using a controller over mouse and keyboard. It's just a fact. That's not something I would say is subjective. There are probably some savants, some geniuses out there who are able to be as precise with a gamepad or more precise, but those people are few and far between. So that comes into play with how the shooting feels a little not great. There's no real snap to it. There are aim assist attributes to individual weapons, but I didn't even notice those coming into play when using the weapons myself. But then I found the general gameplay of it being this MMO-like experience to be very dull, having to go through the same area over and over and over again, go to the same environments, the same facilities over and over and over again. The lack of variety is strong. And that surprised me, how quickly I was seeing the same stuff. It made me wonder why and how people played and enjoyed this game for so long. And I am coming at this as someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with MMOs. So it may just be par for the course and something that is part of the experience. And I am surely hypocritical in how I can find so much enjoyment in a game like Skyrim when you're seeing a lot of the same stuff, you're doing a lot of the same things. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just it's not even a free to play game, but the games as a service aspect of it, having all these menus, all these things shoved in my face, all these icons, if that overwhelming aspect of the game tainted the rest of the experience, if they stripped all that away and it was still the same game, but I could just go through the story, and if I wanted to play co-op, I could, but it was inherently the same game, just a lot cleaner and dumbed down. If my feelings would be different, that would be a very interesting experiment to do, but can't do that now. And then it's funny how much of Halo I see in Destiny 2. I can't remember Destiny 1 well enough to say I saw all of this in that too, but I'm sure it was there. But in the way the environments look, the way enemies behave, the way they fight certain weapons, you have these big hulking dudes who remind me of the big hulking dudes with hammers from Halo 3. You have these creatures who turn invisible that remind me of whatever the Arbiter's creatures are, the elite ones in Halo 2. You have sword wielders, or you can pick up the sword. It just feels very Halo-y in more ways than I was expecting. And that made me realize, I think the biggest problem here, and it's very much so a me problem. Anyone who loves Destiny coming at this, listening to this, watching this, getting upset, I'm not saying you can't like it. And don't feel bad that I don't like it. But what I'm getting to is that I think I just don't like Bungie. Because I don't really like Halo. I've played Halo 1, 2, 3, and ODST. And of those, the only one I genuinely love is ODST. I love ODST so much. But Halo 1, don't like that at all. Halo 2, Halo 3, I had fun with. And then also, I played some Halo 5 SWAT, a lot of Halo 5 SWAT, and I enjoyed that specifically in terms of multiplayer. But I only loved the ODST campaign. And then Destiny 1, whatever. If you ask me what my favorite Bungie game was, I'd probably say ODST, but after that, I would say Myth 2. And I would love more Myth, but we're never going to get more Myth. I also played a bit of the Marathon Xbox Live Arcade release and fell off of that very quickly. But it's just a really weird game that is so busy. It forced me to play some Crucible matches, some whatever they were, the one where you're trying to not save notes. It's the control type mode that maybe is called control. It made me do that as part of a quest at one point, and I was trying to get out of it. And then when I loaded the game up the next day, I was no longer forced to do that. It was moving me on to something else, and I was confused. It just, more so than anything, given its life and how long it's been out and all of the updates, all of the expansions, all of the everything, it does a terrible job of onboarding new players. That is really what it all comes down to. If you were there from the start and went along for the ride, I'm sure your experience was much different. At the start, it probably was a much cleaner game with less stuff being shoved into your face right at the start. And as they built upon it, added to it, it was surely easier to consume the new content. But when all of that is there right from the start and you are thrown into the deep end, not knowing how to swim, it's overwhelming. It's not super pleasant. It is also clear, it feels clear that this is meant for cooperative play, because there are times where it felt very anti-single player. Thankfully, in most of the sections you can just respawn, but there were times where it got a bit frustrating. There was an instance where I jumped to a ledge somewhere, landed underneath the place I needed to get to, and then every time I tried to get off of that and died, it respawned me back into this one place, and I thought I broke the game there, but after 5-10 minutes of trying to get off of this stupid little ledge, I managed to get out and didn't have to restart the entire level, which was nice. But it's so disappointing. I don't understand how the power level stuff works. Can I get higher than 1940? How do I get higher than that? There's also leveling. What is the point of leveling? What does that give you? Does that make me able to get a higher power level? Is 1900 actually around the high point because they start everyone off where they should be? I don't know. I don't know anything about this game. And story-wise, why do people care about the story? What is interesting about the lore? It starts you off with an exposition dump. Never like that about any game. And then a lot of the story is delivered through text, and it's often dialogue that they don't just read themselves. They have voice actors. I don't know why. If you're going to give me text, don't make it dialogue. Don't have this character's model, their 3D model, standing in front of me, just looking at me as I'm reading the dialogue of what they're saying when they could be saying it to me themselves. Sometimes they do say it. A lot of the times they don't. It doesn't do a great job of delivering its story in an engaging way that makes me want to care about what it's throwing out at me. So I know that this is a jumbled, messy episode. My thoughts are all over the place. It's been a very weird experience for me playing this game. I know a lot of people love this game. It had such a long life, and its life was full of ups and downs where fans were upset, and there's a current thing with them messing with people's usernames or something that is screwing things up. So it's still just, it's been a journey, and now I can say I've been on that journey. I finished the Beyond Light campaign, so that's one down, 3 more to go. But my journey right now is going to come to an end. I'm sure I have other thoughts about it that I can't grasp onto right now. I wish there were more weapons. I wish I got more weapons. I wish I understood some of the systems better. I like some weapons. I don't like others. I love my grenade launcher. Thank God for that grenade launcher. The heavy weapon really is incredibly useful in boss fights. It is one of the most useful things. And if I could get more heavy ammo, I would love that. Just give me all the heavy ammo. But it is what it is. And that is Destiny 2. I wish I liked it more. But then again, that's just how it goes. That's just how it goes sometimes. Anywho, that is going to do it for this here episode of Attack the Backlog. Will I ever return to Destiny 2? Maybe. Maybe. I'm not opposed to it. I was starting to get into somewhat of a groove, and when I got to the Lightfall campaign, I think is where I ended my journey. I think I finished that introductory mission. I was excited to finally be in a new environment. I initially thought this new grapple mechanic might be cool. I like the fact that at least with expansions, they do introduce some new mechanics. That's cool. But sometimes those new mechanics are stuff I don't like. I didn't like the ice powers, and I just wanted my regular powers, and it wouldn't let me do my regular powers. And that bummed me out. But I did like that the Lightfall campaign was at least not just this icy world. So I'm sure I'll end up seeing the same things over and over again whenever I get back to it. I wasn't overly fond of the outfits of the characters in that area of the game. We'll see how that goes. Maybe. But for now, my journey is over. And I may return someday. Could be a few months down the road. Could be a year down the road. Who knows? But for now, one campaign down, that was enough for me to say, I've completed Destiny 2, in that I've completed one of Destiny 2's campaigns. So I've completed a year's worth of content. Maybe, I don't know how much a campaign involves, but I did 34 quests or missions or however they phrase it. But yeah, my head's a mess. Brain fog, all of that, the frustration, the ups and downs of my streams, which you can go back and watch in the archive if you want. All of it has come together to make this very confusing mess of an episode, which is quite fitting for Destiny 2, which is a jumbled mess of a game now, especially for new players, which is the thing I want to emphasize most. The experience of jumping into Destiny 2 now, as a new player, is terrible. So if you are someone who loves Destiny 2 and you were along for the ride the whole time, those 7 years, just keep in mind that what you experience is vastly different from what someone like me or anyone who jumps into it now is going to experience. Because you got to get all that content piecemeal. You got to get all that content drip fed to you. We are just getting it all shoved in our face. You got to eat the pie one bite at a time, and we got the pie shoved in our face like Destiny 2 is a clown, or we're the clown, and what show did someone always get a pie shoved in their face? I don't know. I'm trying to think of it. Doesn't really matter. But I got a pie shoved in my face, and that pie's name was Destiny 2. But that is it. That is all. That'll do it. Once again, I am Mark Krishnez. Y'all can find me pretty much everywhere at PX Sausage. If you enjoy this here show or any of the stuff I do and what have you, you can support me and my nonsense over at patreon.com/pxs, where you get access to a monthly Q&A, some cool Discord, not profiles, Discord roles, a private Discord channel, some random drops on the Discord here and there. Why am I saying Discord over and over? Some random drops on the Patreon, including I will be recording, maybe very soon, some episode zeros for the potential new movie podcast and the return of the anime podcast. So those will be Patreon exclusive for a while until I feel confident in having the time and all of that to actually do them regularly and bring them back for real. So if any of that stuff appeals to you, you can go over to patreon.com/pxs. Of course, it all depends on the tier you are at, or you can just support me to support me if that is your fancy. In addition to the Patreon, you can find links to the site, the YouTube, the Discord, and so much more over at pxsausage.com. But that is it. That is all. As always, thank you for watching or listening. I hope you enjoyed this here episode, and I hope you have both a wonderful rest of your day, a lovely rest of your weekend, a wonderful weekend. I don't end this show that way, but I just did, so we're going to stick with it. Whenever you are watching or listening to this, just have a wonderful day, all right? All right. But for now, adios, arrivederci.